So today we're going to talk about the energy of money, and I'm so excited about this for two reasons. Number one, I know that the information that I have to share with you guys is so powerful. It's something I've used and I've made a lot of money with it. And secondly, it's within the area of my career expertise. I'm a certified financial planner. I teach classes at UCLA about money. I also run a financial services company, and I'm always talking about money and investing. But today we're going to talk about money in a different form than you may have otherwise seen on TV or in any workshops. When people talk about money, they're generally talking about how to save and invest and work hard to earn. In this session, we're talking about the energy of money, how to attract it, how to manipulate it, how to play with it. And these are some of the tools that I'm going to share with you guys that have transformed my entire life and my family's lives. So, have you noticed how some people don't seem to have money problems while others constantly struggle with it? I mean, we all have friends and family members that no matter what, they just always struggle with money, no matter how hard they work. And then we know other people that it just seems like money comes to them. And even though they might not be rich and have a lot of savings, a lot of times you see they just keep making money and keep spending it. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to dissect this. But before we do, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my background. A few more words about this. We all live in the same economy. We all have pretty much the same opportunities. And we all have almost the same amount of access to the sources of education. So how is it that some people just do a lot better with money, a lot more ease of use, and other people are stuck and stagnant when it comes to money? Some people understand how to work with this energy. And the same goes with women. If you are a heterosexual male, have you noticed how some of your friends have such an easy time being around women and attracting women? And how other men, no matter what they do, it's so hard for them to get women. It's like they call it bad luck, and they're like, I just don't get it. And they try to, they try to be manipulative, and it doesn't work. Nothing works, right? So the men who understand the energy of attraction and women easily get women all the time. The men and women who understand the energy of love always seem to be able to attract love and relationship. The men and women who understand the energy of money always seem to be able to attract money. And we're going to dissect that today. I'm going to leave you with some amazing tips. Here's my background. Some of you already know my background. My story is that I came here from Iran at the age of 8. I'm in the right-hand side of this first picture in the blue. This is the first picture I took when I came to America. I had no money. My parents had no money. I had no education, no culture. I didn't understand anything. In fact, I was horrible in school. Like, I hated school. By the age of 17, I was making a lot of money actually DJing and throwing big parties and big nightclubs. By the age of 23, I was supporting both of my parents. They were in their early 60s, and I was paying their bills. By the age of 33, excuse me, there's some guys waiting in the waiting room. So Ian, just keep an eye on the waiting room. I'm getting some signals on it. So by the age of 33, I'd made $1 million a year of income. So how did this happen? What was I lucky, or was it? Guys, give me a second. Ian, can you mute the room, please? Thank you. How did this happen? Was I lucky, or was it that I worked harder than all my peers? Or was it that I understood some things about money that other people didn't? We all have parents, relatives, and friends who work ultra hard, and some of them just don't seem to get ahead when it comes to finances. Why is this? Well, I'll share with you some of the secrets that I've learned from some of my mentors, and some of this is based on research, but most of it is actually based on my real life experience. So money is energy. That's the first thing you have to understand. That money is not just paper, it's actual energy. And this is a real deep concept that you have to really accept before you know how to work with the energy of money. Just like love is a form of energy, and some people seem to attract love, always be in love, and attract relationships, the same thing exists with the energy of money. It's just a different energy. Just with any type of energy, the more you understand how it flows, the more you can play with it and manipulate it. In the world of Newtonian physics, the first law of motion says that an object in motion stays in motion unless you interrupt it. This concept also applies to money. If you figure out how to create the velocity and the energy and the flow of money, all you need to do is sit back and receive. And it sounds kind of weird, but I'm going to talk to you in specifics. So here are the three components when it comes to the energy of money. There are three components in mastering the abundance of money. This means that if you understand and you truly understand these three components, you will no longer have to struggle with getting money. Does it mean you have to work hard? Of course. It's actually good to work hard. But will you struggle with money? You won't if you understand these three concepts. So, some people easily attract money. You've heard the old saying that says, everything he touches turns to gold. You heard that before? Yeah. So here are the three components that allows you to unleash this energy. Number one is mastering the flow of money. Number two, mastering the dynamic of money. And number three, your current equals your currency. And I'm going to review those three topics. Your current equals your currency. So here's the first component, the flow of money. So money is a form of energy. You must allow it to flow and not trap it. So the idea we have, the analogy I give you is, if you've ever seen a light bulb, the way a light bulb works, guys, is electricity comes in through one side, goes through that little thing in the middle, and down the other side. Now, if you trap this electricity, or if you stopped it in the middle, if you disconnected those two prongs, the light bulb wouldn't light up anymore. Why? Because this electric flow, this energetic flow, is no longer flowing. So what does it mean to flow? To flow means to have income and outgo, not just income. And so we're going to discover how to generate financial flow in your life by understanding the electricity, the flow of money. Many people don't understand this. Many of our families have gone through challenges and financial hardship. And so their mentality around money is that of lack. How many of you guys have this? Just by a show of hands, how many of you come from a family that has a lack mentality when it comes to money? It's just, we don't have it, we need it, I can't get it, we got to work hard, right? Something that's very common in families. And what happens is it stops the flow. So when money comes into the household, people, they crunch up, they tense up. And so they try to hold on to it so tightly that it doesn't leave. And what that does is it prevents more from coming in. A great example that I have from my immigrant family is when I used to live at my parents' home, I used to share a bathroom. And man, I would go in the bathroom, I would try to brush my teeth, and the second I would walk out of the restroom to get something from my room, the bathroom lights would automatically turn off. And I'm like, wait, how does that work? We don't even have an automatic switch. How do they turn off? And what I started realizing is my dad would immediately come in the bathroom and turn off the lights. And I was like, Dad, what's going on? What are you doing? He's like, dude, electricity is expensive. We need to conserve. Like, what are you doing leaving the lights on for extra 10 seconds? That is the lack mentality. So I'm going to talk to you about how to play with money. So with the same concept comes the concept of non-attachment. So we know in the universe, when you have attachment to something, oftentimes that creates resistance. That is the same as men who feel like, I need to have a girlfriend right now. I have to have a girlfriend. And you've experienced that yourself, where at times where you feel like you have to have a girlfriend, all the women are, I don't know why, they stay away from you, right? You're just like off limits. Nobody gets close. And the second you actually say, you know what, forget this. I'm not even going to focus on women. I'm just going to focus on myself, focus on my well-being. Suddenly, all these women come in and you meet the right spouse, right? Same thing exists with money. If you're constantly thinking about how do I get money and how do I hold on to money, it doesn't come because your energy, your flow is restricted. Remember the analogy of the light bulb. You want the money to flow. So an example of this that I oftentimes see with people is when they have a hard time giving away money or paying for things. This happens with my parents all the time. They're so conservative when it comes to money that it's like a pain for them to pay for something. So the question I ask you is that if your heart and mind have resistance to giving away or writing $100,000 check, won't your mind and your heart have resistance to receiving a $100,000 check or asking for a $100,000 check? I mean, if you've never written a $100,000 check to someone, how could you sit in front of a client and be like, sir, that'll be $100,000. I'll take a check right now. I mean, your entire system will be resistant to it. So this is really important. The more you understand how to give away the money, remember the releasing of it is as important as the receiving of it. The more you practice the release of money, the more you will have a flow of financial abundance. And this I've seen in my life over and over and over again. Generosity plays into this. How generous are you with money? Are you only generous with your time, or are you also generous with your money? You've noticed many wealthy people who are so generous, especially in America, so many philanthropists, they give it away because they know it's coming and more will come. So this practice of giving and receiving is extremely important. What I find with many men is sometimes you're good at one, but not good at the other. So many of us guys are givers. And when it comes to receiving, we have a hard time receiving. Somebody wants to buy you lunch or dinner. You're like, no, bro, I got it. Practice. Next time somebody says, I want to buy you lunch or dinner, say, thank you, I receive. Right? Because you know that you'll have an opportunity to give again. So understanding the current, the flow of money, and not trapping it is extremely important. And trapping it oftentimes is a learned behavior that comes from families that have had financial lack. So they hoard the money instead of allowing it to come in and go out. The next component is the component of the dynamic of money. This is your relationship with money. So I'd like you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, and we're going to continue this in about 8 seconds. Anybody feel the pain of hoarding money, the pain of lack mentality in their family? Anybody want to share a pain? I'll open up the mic for you guys. I'm going to stop this slide for a second. Any guys, by a show of hands, have a feeling of guilt in their family, a feeling of shame when they spend money? That oftentimes happens in immigrant families where people pool money and you just feel shame. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm buying this shirt for myself because my mother is suffering and I can't do this, right? And this is really what stops the energy of money. This level of like money shame, guilt, and expenditure is one of the biggest things that holds you back from unleashing abundance and wealth in your life. I'll give you a very beautiful example. I was 25 years old. My cousin was a lot older than me. He was very successful. I worked for his company for a little while, and I had very little income. I had like $1,500, $1,600 of income. And I was living within a budget. And us human beings are creatures of adaptability. So no matter how small your budget is, you'll end up living within that budget, right? Whether your budget is $2,000 a month of income or $10,000 a month of income, you'll somehow figure out how to live within it. So one day we went out to a suit shop and I was looking at these beautiful suits and I was just like daydreaming about buying one of them because I didn't have the money. My budget was all tapped out. My cousin took me, he's like, look, I'm going to force you to buy this $300 suit. And I said, no, PJ, I don't have money. Like, I don't have it. Like, I can't do it. He's like, put it on your credit card right now. And he forced me to put this $300 suit on my credit card. And I was $300 short that month. And guess what? How do you think I went to work for the next 2 weeks? Did I go into work looking to like make more money or less money? Way more. I had energy. I had ambition. My budget was like, okay, you need to actually make this money now, right? And what ended up happening is slowly and surely, I started to expand my budget because I started spending outside of my budget in a responsible way. Now, the responsible way part is the more important part of it. Some people say spend outside of your budget and then you go and spend it on a vacation. But think about some of the things that you can do to actually expand your budget by spending more in the areas of your life that are of value. And maybe travel is one of them, right? So this is really important. We're going to continue this concept. I want you to really understand it. All right. So your relationship with money, you cannot and should not have a dynamic of master and slave with money, where you end up being the slave of the money. Oftentimes, people who have not had a lot of money place a lot of value on money. See if this is true about your family. A lot of people who've had financial struggles in their past, a lot of parents worship money and idolize it. The energy of money is more powerful than them, or they actually feel like the money is like some idol. Instead, the right way to approach money is that you have command of it. Even if you don't have it, you have to approach it with command. So the same was very true for me and my mother. My mother was raised in a family with prolonged periods of poorness in her life. Her mindset is one of lack when it comes to money. She idolizes wealthy people. She often tells me about people, and instead of talking about how kind they are and how interesting they are, she tells me about how wealthy and successful they are, as if this should mean that they're some good person because they have a lot of money. To her, money is the ultimate sign of success and importance. And this is actually what's causing her to have distance or a distant relationship with money. Does this exist in your family? This form of idolization where like, oh my God, this person's wealthy. That means they're very important, right? We think of money as something so large and powerful that it creates a slave and master dynamic. No wonder it's so hard to get it. Powerful, wealthy people know that money is their slave. I'm going to say that again. Powerful, wealthy people know that money is their slave. The money never controls them. They don't have a fear of spending it or giving it away. They realize that they have command over the energy of money and that they will not, quote unquote, run out. This is why wealthy people can command a lot of money. They give it away and they could easily ask for it and invite it in. Most wealthy people don't have a problem asking for a $100,000 check. Why? Because they're comfortable with this relationship, this dynamic that they have with the energy of money. This also goes hand in hand with the law of abundance, which says that there is more than enough of everything in the world. I'm going to repeat that. The law of abundance says that there is more than enough of everything in this world, and that you will never run out of something unless you actually hoard it. People with abundance mentalities will always give things away because they know that there's always more to come. So check out this beautiful quote that I find. Money is the excellent slave and a horrible master. Think about your relationship with money. Think about how you were raised. What is your relationship with money? Do you see it as a slave of yours, or do you see it as a master of yours? This is really important. If you see money to be a master of yours, you're thinking, shit, this is unnecessary. I don't want to work. It's so hard. And getting money, I always run out and got to pay the bills. That's being a slave. Being a master says I attract money, that I know how to spend it easily, I know how to make it quickly, and that people have an easy time paying me for my goods and services because I'm worth it and it's easy for me to make the money. Why shouldn't I make money, right? So that's the second concept. The second concept we just discussed is the dynamic or the relationship you have with money in terms of master and slave. So here's a third and final concept when it comes to money. And I love this one. This is more advanced. This one changed my life. It tenfolded my income. All right. Your current equals your currency. I'm going to repeat that. Your current equals your currency. Once you understand this particular concept of money, your financial life will be forever changed. We are all electrical beings. We actually have electrical waves inside of us. And this is where you get to align energetically with the current of money. Think about a flowing river, which we call a current. When you try to go against the current, you meet resistance. Even when you try to cross a river, the current will push you out of balance. What if we go with the current? Won't things become easier? Oops, sorry. So the same goes for money. When you are working hard and going against the current, things just don't seem to progress. However, we've all had those situations where we find ourselves in flow and suddenly the rewards keep on coming. Anybody experienced that in the recent 5-6 months in some part of their lives, whether it was relationship, work, or money, where they were in a state of flow? Anybody experienced that? Okay, great. So the hardest part of this concept is to first understand which way the river is flowing. It's really challenging to see where is the currency flowing. Once you understand the direction of the river, all you need to do is get in and sit down and open up. You're now in flow, allowing the flow to take you, allowing money to come in by receiving and accepting it, not resisting it or idolizing it. Just like any river, the flow doesn't always take you straight down. A lot of times, there are curves and bumps and rocks and distractions along the way. Once you're in the current, your job is to be in the flow and just hang in. Life will try to distract you. So here's a real life example. You may find an amazing job. Energetically and financially, it makes a lot of sense for you. You feel good about this job, deep inside, even though you haven't made much money in it. You sign up, and now you're in the flow. Does this mean that suddenly you're going to make $1 million? No, that's not how it works. Your job is to maintain flow for yourself. Just like with any current, there will be bumps, rocks, and curves along the way. For example, your manager may be a pain in the ass. A client may complain about something you didn't even do. Another client may come in and say, hey, look, I got this huge opportunity. Quit your job and work with me. These are all things that can pull you out of the current. It takes energy to stay in the current. But once you know the current and you can stay in it, the flow gets bigger and bigger. I've found this to be so true. Once I understood the current of money, and again, it's elusive, right? Just like love, just like making love, it's elusive. But once you understand the current of money and you open up and you connect your heart, your mind, your soul into this electrical current, and you're clearing yourself of your trauma around money, you're not having this master and slave relationship. You're not having a dynamic of lack. You're in the state of abundance, even though you still haven't made a penny. State of abundance. You're in a state of joy, connection with the universe. Once you connect with the currency, the current of currency, just watch and see how money will flow to you. People will call you, opportunities will come to you, the checks that you'll receive get bigger and bigger as long as you keep flowing that energy. This is something I know a lot about and I've worked with a lot of guys on, and it's changed their entire life. This is where we're talking about how to create massive abundance rather than working hard and going against the flow and being tired all the time and having this mentality of like, I'm not going to give up just because I'm going to keep going against the flow. Really powerful, powerful work. So I want to hear from you guys. We're going to get into small sessions, and I want to find out, we're going to go into rooms of 3, and I want to find out, what is your relationship with money?